All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me okay. We'll go ahead and get started. Go ahead and pop the chat out here. J Man, Penny, Melissa, Amanda, Dawn, Chris, Benita, Cecil, Lynn, Rita, Teresa, J Mommy. What's up, guys? Good morning to you all. So, have a couple updates here. Nothing too much has changed, though. If you're watching and want the short, too long, didn't read version, nothing really changed except the fact they did pull that marginal risk now back to the west. So Kalamazoo and Three Rivers, all the way up toward Alma, Ionia, Tri City area, Saginaw, then points eastward, all within that marginal risk for severe weather now. Okay. Main hazard still damaging winds as the main concern. Large hail is your secondary concern. So that's your overall risk area here, driven by the wind threat, which is right here on your screen now. It's a 5%, lowest we can go. So it's a low risk today, but still a risk nonetheless for damaging winds. And then also the hail risk is slightly displaced off to the east. This is your hail risk. So it doesn't go all the way to Kalamazoo. It does include places like Marshall, though, Coldwater, Lansing, and Saginaw, and then points eastward toward the lakes and Ontario. Okay, so the hail risk is a little bit higher further to the east within this risk today. So damaging winds and then also hail as your two primary threats. There is still no tornado risk in the state. So relax, breathe a second. Wind shear today does not support tornadoes, so we do not anticipate it. We're always on our guard, though, just in case, and that's how we have to be here in Michigan. But anticipating zero tornadoes today within the state. So we've tracking that and watching radar as always. So if anything does happen to rotate, we'll let you guys know. But that's just not what we're looking at today. So overall timing has not changed as well. Looking at the forecast model here, the HRRR. We're going to actually move this down here to the U or the lower peninsula here. We'll be looking at the UP in a little bit. Got some scattered storms on radar here across the state right now up toward Ludington. Got my radar pulled up over here. Up toward Cadillac, Manistee, Ludington, West Branch, those areas. Just some scattered rain. I don't see any lightning strikes with these. Maybe one or two. But otherwise, those are going to move out, and those should not be severe. The main area of concern is still down by that Kalamazoo area. The model right here is 11 a.m. Here's noon. We start seeing our first pop-up cell here by Kalamazoo. Here's 1 p.m. These are the storms we're going to watch here from Mount Pleasant all the way down toward Kalamazoo. That should develop and push east as the afternoon goes on. This is 2 p.m. Whoops, this is 3 p.m. Notice how it pulls kind of north toward the Tri-Cities into the thumb area, and the south part of the line doesn't really develop too well by Jackson, Lansing. We'll see if that happens, but as that line does push into the thumb and onto Lake Huron, we do have additional development down there by that Lansing-Jackson area. This is at 5 p.m. at this point. We do have other pop-ups there as well that could very well be severe. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But otherwise, the main line here starts about 1 p.m., so time frame has not changed. 1 p.m. is your start time on the west side of the state, and those storms should be clearing the state by roughly 5, 6 p.m. Could see some lingering stuff in the southern part of the state that could push out by 7 or 8. Otherwise, that 7 p.m. should be the rough time frame of when storms should be dying down here in the lower part of Michigan. Now, we do have that risk up there. I do want to mention up in the UP, it's very small slice up there by Ironwood in that marginal risk, but on models and such, we do see a secondary line developing 5 to 8 p.m. ish out here in the western UP. So right here, this is at 5. Right here, here's 6. Those storms pushing in the west part of the UP may be strong or severe. We'll watch that as well. But if you guys are watching from the western UP, just keep that in mind. You do have a potential risk up there today as well. So overall, we are watching our real-time data at this point. We call it mesoanalysis, watching our wind shear, watching our instability, our lift, everything we're going to need for severe weather. We're watching it right now. We're already seeing our surface-based instability fill in here on the west side of Michigan. So we're coming together quite nicely. We are looking at our wind shear to be pretty weak here. For example, this is your wind shear map. We see a contour here of 25. We really want to see that up toward 35 plus. So we're not really seeing the wind shear develop as models predicted. So that should limit the overall, risk today in general. But still, we do have some decent parameters here for some damaging winds especially if storms can congeal together into a line and like form like a bow echo. That could very well produce some damaging winds, and that's really the only concern today, as well as some large hail as well. But overall dynamics today do appear to support that, and that's about it. There's no major, major risks or major concerns today with how we're looking on real-time data. So all I'm going to say is the risk does appear to be on track here, as we've been talking about. It is shift back to the west, and still damaging winds is your primary threat, as well as large hail is a secondary threat. Tornado risk is low. 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. is your general main centered time frame down here in lower Michigan. If you're in the western UP, we're going to stay between 5 p.m. and we're going to stay 8 or 9 p.m. Okay. So that is your general gist of today. Also, the timing map, I believe you don't have it loaded in here. Remember, I think I can load it in. Hold on. See if I can get this in here. Your timing map that Joel made last night, it's uploading. Give me a second. There it is. So if you guys want to screenshot this for your memory and all that, go ahead. Feel free to screenshot that. This is going to be your general time frame for storms. Now there is those two areas of storm arrival time. The UP is separate. We have that round one, round two thing. So the round two is for the UP, and also up there toward like the Ludington area. We could see some storms arrive over there later on this evening. They shouldn't be severe though down here in the lower peninsula later this evening. So main risk for round two will be up in the UP, and then that round one is going to be focused on the lower peninsula. And the greatest severe risk is now still in that southern and eastern part of the state, but does get extended further west now toward Kalamazoo and Lansing. So that contour of yellow that says greatest severe threat, imagine that got shifted a little bit to the west there. So it includes like Ithaca, Mount Pleasant, Holland, Battle Creek, Sturgis. Okay. With that being said, that is all I have to share with you guys. We do have a few chasers who plan to go out. Joel and I will be here on radar duty. Nick will join us tonight when he's off of work, if we're still live at that point. We do have, I believe, Ben as our main chaser who will be out chasing today. I think we have Mike Laszlo, who's going to be in the Detroit area. We have Christina up in the, I want to say Lapeer County, Oakland County area. And that's, I think, our three chasers who are going to be active today. I believe we have one or two more, possibly, given the circumstances. But overall, we'll be here tracking the radar at the very least for you guys, communicating risk to you. So pop out the comments here. Slight risk possible. One more chance for that at 12:30. Given that they haven't done it already, I wouldn't think they would. Of course, I'm going to say, in my opinion, no. But again, I don't issue those outlooks, so we'll leave that to the SPC. And if it does get upgraded, we'll let you guys know. If it does get upgraded, it'd be for damaging winds. It wouldn't be for hail or tornadoes, anything like that. It'd just be for winds. Most of these storms are probably going to have pockets of 40 to 60 mile per hour winds here. So even though if they're not going to be severe, or the possibility that some storms may not be severe, we're still going to have that gusty winds as a possibility with these storms. That 40 mile per hour winds can still take down small limbs and blow your trash cans around. Maybe some tents if you guys got tents or loose objects around. So overall, though, it's a pretty interesting day for sure. A couple rounds here possible. Main one centered around 1 to 7 p.m. though. How high of winds? So generally speaking, the 58 mile per hour winds is your guideline for severe. So we're kind of thinking between 40 and 60 mile per hour winds, maybe pockets of isolated higher, but we shouldn't have anything widespread, destructive, nothing like that today. It should just be a general line or scattered thunderstorms with pockets of heavier winds in them. So I'm going to say probably up to 60 with isolated 65 possible is what I would say. We are watching I don't think it's going to make it up here. I will pop this out real quick for you guys. Let's see if I can't load it in here. Perfect. So we got radar pulled up here. This is your live radar shot across Michigan. We have some scattered showers up here. Not seeing any lightning strikes, although sometimes radar doesn't pick it up sometimes. But we look to the south here. We do have this interesting line that's developed down here in Indiana. It is moving east northeast towards Michigan, but it's going to take a while to get here. But that is already severe down here by Lafayette, Indiana. So, uh, interesting trend with that. We'll keep an eye on that just in case it does track. It'll be a few hours out from Michigan, but we already have that one severe storm off to the south. We're going to keep an eye on this just in case. Our risk is going to develop probably somewhere um, right around this general area later on, you know, by about noon to 1 p.m. You've been seeing some sunshine. Maybe that will increase the instability. It is, J man. It is. Sunshine today is upping our instability today. We already have it filling in the state, though, so that's not really a concern at this point. Go back to that mesoanalysis page I was showing you guys. Give me a second to switch screens again. There we go. So there's your instability. The red lines here indicating that is where your instability is. We zoom in real close. We can see there's numbers. There's 1,000. Down here in Indiana is 1,500. So that's your joules of surface-based CAPE there. We talked yesterday about 1,000 to 2,000, and that's what we're kind of seeing fill in here. So we already got about 1,000 to 1,500 filling in here in Western Michigan. That should continue to move into the state and also push east as we get into the day. So the instability is already out there. Taking a look at our satellite too while we're at it. We can do that here on this software as well. We are getting some pockets of sunshine here. I know here at my house, I'm getting filtered sun through high level clouds, looks like, or some low level clouds as well. But I do see pockets of blue sky. So we are getting that surface heating, and that is bright. I'll close that back up. We are seeing some pockets of surface heating here that will help the atmosphere destabilize. Dawn, that video is already created. We already have a room made for our coverage today. We always make our coverage rooms in advance, even if we don't anticipate severe weather. Sometimes we'll make them just in case because it takes a second to get connected to our chasers and stuff like that. So we just make it, give them the link to get in there, get their software set up so they can actually hop in when the time comes and not to worry about setting up anything when they're in chase mode. So it is already made. It's scheduled for 1 p.m. today, but we're going to go live if severe weather occurs, which we do expect at least a couple severe warnings today. So we should be live at some time throughout now between now and tonight. So am I surprised it didn't add the slight? A little bit, Matthew, a little bit, but looking at models this morning, not too surprised. If we had a little bit more wind shear, I would definitely, consider it being a slight risk. But I think the marginal is okay as well. Sun and Lowell. Yes, please, Dawn. Thank you. Hit the like button for us. Appreciate it. Helps the algorithm out both on Facebook and on YouTube. It actually recommends it to more people who may not be aware of the risks, not only today, but on any severe day we're active and live. Would appreciate hitting the like button. It also helps us grow our channel as well. So appreciate you guys, your support, whether it's just hitting the sub button, hitting the like button, or if you're a member on either Patreon, Facebook, or YouTube, we appreciate all of your support. Could we have a severe watch put in place soon? Kendall, that is a great question. I do think it's a possibility today. We'll have to see what they do. If one does get issued, probably a bit later on this morning, probably closer to noon, 1 o'clock, when the storms are expected to develop. At that point, we'll probably have an update. They'll issue what we call an MD or mesoscale discussion. And when that does get issued, we will post it to the page with the probability of a watch issuance. But I think it's possible today, being that's going to be like more of a widespread area, possible severe, could very well see a watch. But again, wouldn't be shocked if they opt not to, just because we do have some lacking ingredients today. That being wind shear primarily. Do we see any active patterns setting up after this? So yes, we do, but it's about 2 weeks out still. We'll have to kind of see if that plays out. Being 2 weeks out, confidence is extremely low. But we are seeing some models try to indicate we're going to have some ingredients stick around for a few days for severe weather. We'll keep an eye on that, but specifics impossible. Wind shear cannot increase. Not really. The only thing that's going to increase our wind shear is stuff like lake breeze boundaries or outflow boundaries, stuff like that. Mesoscale, what we call mesoscale features that can influence storms and stuff like that. That's the only way we're going to get an influence of higher wind shear today. So close to like Lake Erie, like Monroe County, Wayne County, perhaps Lenawee, Washtenaw, the Lake Erie breeze there, up by Huron County, Tuscola, Sanilac counties, up there, kind of a lake breeze as well. So those would be the areas of a little bit maybe higher wind shear potentially. How are long range temps looking? Steven, about average, right around 80, low 80s, high 70s. Not really seeing any warm ups at this point, at least next 7 to 10 days. After this, after today, we're going to cool off back into the 70s. Friday may stay in the 60s. We talked about this on our Sunday live stream. It still holds true. Friday's looking a little bit cooler, although if you, I mean, 70's not that bad, guys. Like 70's perfect for me, but still on the cooler side of things, given we are in meteorological summer. But after we get past next weekend, we're going to stay in the 70s. Looks like for quite a while. I don't really see any 80s until probably the mid part of the month. Kenny, we always want to say the risk is never zero for a tornado. Today would be one of those days that I wouldn't expect anything just because for tornadoes, we have to have that low level spin, and we lack that big time today. It's going to take a lot of things coming together to get a tornado today in Michigan, and I just don't see it happening. I don't. Like I said before, though, if we can get like a lake breeze boundary, that'd be like the only exception I could see, like an increased localized area of wind shear. But then again, we still have some other lacking stuff that doesn't really support tornadoes in general. So I'm just not concerned, like not going to mention it as a hazard. But we never want to say it's zero just because, funnier things have happened in Michigan. So we're always on guard. But advertising a risk today for a tornado would be, I think, sparking a lot of anxiety in people that would be unnecessary. So I just don't see it happening. When is our most active season for severe weather? So we're in it right now. June is our most active month, historically speaking. However, later trends, we go back, we'll say 50 years back, like, well, let's make it easier. If we go back to 1950, the historically active month is going to be June. But if we go back for the past like 15 to 20 years, historically speaking, it's kind of shifted more so into July and August. But the main months to watch for severe weather here in Michigan is May to roughly September. Our May was pretty active here in Michigan. Not for huge risk, but we had a lot of coverage of, random severe storms that just kind of popped up. So we had that one big day on May 7th. So 77 in Monroe. It's 76 here in Lenawee too. So yep. Humidity is 78%. See what our dew point is. Dew point is at 68. We are moist today, guys. That is a very high dew point. We get close to 70, that's a lot of moisture. And that's also going to help fuel these storms today as well. The more moisture, the better. How is our slim looking at 1 p.m. today? So slim is still there, although it hasn't changed from yesterday. The shear is lacking today. We actually can go off real-time data here instead of looking at models. Looking at our wind shear, we look at a few ones like bulk effective shear. We see a contour here of 30 now by the Flint area, Tri-City area. That's okay. 30 is going to be what's going to really drive these storms. Anything below that, we would consider, weak at that point. So there's a pocket now of 30 knots. You want to see that over 35 to 40 plus to get severe weather, really. But 30 is marginally supportive. So your wind shear it's okay, but not perfect. Again, your instability going out of order here. Actually lift. Let's get our lifted indice here. Uh, Got to find it first. Okay, I thought it was under there. Where is your lifted indice? Most unstable LI. Okay, I guess that's it. Maybe. Yeah, here we go. This is your lifted indice. So here's your lifted indice. So your lift, a -5, -6 or lower is good. We have a pocket here about -5 right now in Southwest Michigan. So that's again sufficient, but not. It could be a lot stronger, closer to -8 sometimes as well. But today, -5 is what we got right now. So your lift is there. But what I'm trying to say here is, the ingredients are there, but they're not like screaming, if that makes sense. What's next? Instability. We went over that before. Your instability is here, already working in the state. Pocket now down here of 2,000 surface base Cape. So we're already at 2K down here by, we'll say Coldwater area down through Indiana. Although the pocket of 1,500 joules extends up to Grand Rapids now. So we're unstable, working its way in, working east as well. Then last one be moisture. We already looked at our moisture. I Here at my house, it's 68 on dew point. But looking at the surface observations here, the green number here is dew point temperature. If we zoom way in, we're at 66, 67, 68, 70. So we got 67 here. So upper 60s, low 70s here for our moisture, for our dew point. So our moisture's there. So we're checking all the boxes, but two of those boxes are kind of on the weaker side of things, which is why the risk isn't higher. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was under thermodynamics too, but I don't see lifted indices. This one is missing it here. Oh, it's right there. Wow, I did miss it. This one says -4 is what we have right now across Southwest Michigan. We want to see -5 or lower. So -4 can still get the job done, though. It would just kind of be a weaker side of lift mechanism to work with. Yes, we do have chasers today. Most of the guys are working, unfortunately. But we do have at least at least three, maybe four chasers who are going to be out. I believe Ben is going to be the active one today. So we'll get him in here if we can. And then we have Mike in Detroit, and we have Christina, I want to say, on the border of Lapeer and Oakland County, that general area. And Ben is over on the west side of the state in St. Joseph County. That's his starting point today where storms initiate. He'll follow those storms east. So, Amanda, damaging winds is your main concern today with any thunderstorms. And then large hail will be a secondary concern. More so concerned today about the wind over the hail, but still want to mention that hail is a possibility up to quarter size or inch in diameter. Anything larger than that would probably be unlikely. Davison has a parade today. When do you think it'll come along over there? So timing map is actually handy to have here. So Davison area on that line of green and yellow there. I'm going to probably say expect it 4 to 5 p.m. ish. Looking at the model for you and getting an updated guidance. This map was made last night. So I want to check out the local guidance here for you for an update. Looks like Davison area roughly about 3 p.m. Okay. So that'd be your rough time frame, give or take an hour or so. So 2 to 4. We'll put it simple. 2 to 4 p.m. up there toward Flint, Davison area. Expect storms to be pushing into the area. All right. I need to hop off here and get ready for streaming later today. Get some breakfast, kind of recharge the batteries here, and go ahead and get ready for some coverage later on this evening. So do me a favor, guys, if you haven't already, smash the like button, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Helps us out a lot. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, please feel free to do so. It is completely free to do that. And you can also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime that we go live or post new videos if you want to be notified about those. Otherwise, we'll be on here later today covering. You guys stay safe. We'll got you guys covered here on radar and also in the field. So stay tuned for coverage if needed. You guys have a safe day. Enjoy one last day of some humidity, and we have much pleasanter weather moving in for the next couple of days. All right. See you guys later. Stay safe.